Hello, everybody here. Have a very good morning. So I'm happy here. Uh, actually, uh, it's an honor for me to be here as a keynote speaker for this conference. First, I want to say thank you so much to Eurasia because you're willing to have me as your keynote speaker. So it's a very grateful, it's a very excitement for me to share this, and this is the second uh, conference that invite me as a keynote speaker. So I'm tru- I introduce myself first. I Dr. Muhammad Norazmi bin Nordin. I'm a senior lecturer at Center of Study for Education and Community Wellbeing, Faculty of Education, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, or in English we call the National University of Malaysia. So I am the special education lecturer here. So here in Malaysia, I'm handling the course about special education and specifically about visual impairment. So I'm dealing with future teacher. I'm teach them how to be a teacher for student who visual impairment student. So for specific experience, I'm 10 years being a teacher for the student with special needs, including hearing impairment, learning difficulties, and also as well as visual impairment students. So it's grateful here for me to share my knowledge, to share my a little bit experience and knowledge with you. And a big thank you for Dr. Flora Charles because your trust in me for giving this keynote speaker, and I hope that in the future I also invited for another conference for another title of keynote speaker. Okay, so is the grateful for is one of honorable for me, for my career, for my life, and for myself. Okay, so today, um, I have only 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes to share my my keynote here. So let's we go through to the topic. Actually, here now in Malaysia, we evening here, 2 p.m. here. So maybe now you're in, or maybe if you come from somewhere else is around the globe, so maybe you are in midnight, maybe you are early in morning, maybe you in evening, or maybe you in afternoon, or maybe you have lunch now. So let we see what we have here. So my topic for this keynote speaker is related to my expertise, which is special educations. And now we will look about special elements and values needed in leadership for special education. As we know, special education is a different culture, different conditions. If we compare with a typical education system as well, because the special education here we have special needs students who are learning difficulties, they including autism child, autism students, Down syndrome students, or we have cerebral palsy students. You know cerebral palsy, we have the nerve problem. if their hands is straight away, so they can't bend it. So we have nerve problem here, so we have cerebral palsy. So they also have hearing impairment and also as well as visual impairment. So in the process, in the lead of special education, we have to needs more special elements. You have special element and values to lead and to become the best leader for the special education. So this is my picture. So this is me. So this is my affiliations. So this is my university, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. So this is my university. So this is around my university. So this is the hall. It's just like the Hall of Fame. So here the students will have their graduation day here. So this is my faculty, Faculty of Education, or in Bahasa Melayu we call Fakulti Pendidikan. Sorry. So this is the way to my faculty. This is my office. So as a autobiography, I am holds I holds a Doctor of Philosophy, Ph.D. degree in Special Education Leaderships, former academic teacher at Batu Pahat Special Education School in Johor, Malaysia for 10 years. Successfully complete PhD studies within 2 years about this topic, about special education leaderships, and currently working as a special education lecturer at the Center of the Study of Education and Community Wellbeing, Faculty of Education, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, the National University of Malaysia. And I'm also the founder of Scarf Style Quick Thesis Writing Techniques. If in the future, if you want keynote speaker about this topic, I'm willing to do so. And then which is greatly helped undergraduate and doctoral students in completing their thesis. Receive invitation from various universities in and outside Malaysia as speakers and keynote speakers for international conference and seminars. And I'm also editor in chief of a special education journals and as an editorial board in 5 international journals. So this is my book, my ebook, which is I'm sharing about my technique in structure the thesis, which is I'm use this for complete my thesis, my PhD thesis within 2 years, 4 semester. Okay, so for our topic today, introduction. Leading an educational organization is a challenging task and requires a competent leader. Okay, when we organize some when we lead some organization, the big organization, actually an educational organization, is we have to face the challenge. The big challenge is a big task. It is a current special education. The challenge of leadership become higher and requires strong commitment to produce quality education for students with special needs. If in a normal or typical educational organization is very challenging, but in special education is higher and require strong commitment to lead the special education organization, which is a school which is have a special needs students. So special education leaderships cover all aspects of management related to the cooperation of special education, knowledge, leadership style, and attitude. And effective leadership in managing special education must take into account needs of welfare of teachers, students, parents, and other stakeholders. So in leading special education schools, which we special needs students, so we have to give attention for uh, to take care of welfare. First for teachers, second students, parents, and also other stakeholders. This is the challenging, the big challenge in organizing or leading special educations and organization. So this is my students. They are special needs students. So this is how they are learning. They learns. So in the class we have not much student, with maximum of 6 students. So here 3 students is optimum. This is also my students. He have nerve problems. He have a blood circulation problem. So day by day, the, his bloods it become unfunctional, and the doctor said he only can live 15 years maximum. So he is one of my beloved students. So this also Chinese students. So here in Malaysia we have Chinese, we have Indian, and we have of course Malay. So this is of one of my students, autistic students. Okay, what we have here, we have more activities on students. So as a leader in this special school to lead special education needs students, so we have more. We have take into account our love, our um, caring for them. So they we have to focus more on them compared to the typical students. Okay. So for the literature review, we have here many studies that come into account that in abroad shows how we have to focus more on love and caring for leading special education organizations such as schools. What we in um, organizing special needs students. So this is also my students, various categories of special educations, various categories of disabilities, and they are happy if we can lead them in the great way, in the quality way. They love to do activities. They love to share their stories. They love to do hands-on activities. So this is also two of my students, my great students. So I love them very much. I hope so. They also love me very much. So it's a great memories with them. So in the findings, based on the thematic analysis conducted, so on my studies, there are 5 themes that result as special education elements, added element and added values, namely love, caring, sensitivity, friendliness, and cooperation network. These 5 elements are the specific elements and added value needed in leadership in special education in every situation. So because of that 5 elements, so we teach them how to how to manage their life, how to manage their learning for on their self. So this is activity that we teach them in schools, and we lead them to do this one, to do those activities. So this is 5 elements, special education leadership added elements. Maybe we have elements educational leaderships, but these 5 is the added elements. We have love, caring, friendliness, cooperation network, and sensitivity. So this is the activity we have done using these 5 needed elements, added elements. Okay, so the discussion is through the thematic analysis conducted. There are 5 elements. So we share earlier. So they love to do activities hands-on. So the conclusion is there are 5 additional elements for effective educational leaderships, namely loving, caring, sensitive, friendly, and cooperative networking. All of these recorded elements were agreed upon by the interview respondents involved. Overall, they note that the elements not had an impact on the success of special education management. These elements and added value should be given attention by special education leaders in their leadership's practice, as these elements are able to influence the climate as well as the success of special education organization. It should be emphasized that all these value-added elements and needs to be applied and implemented in every decision to be made on special education. With this value added special education leadership practice, it is hoped to make special education management more efficient and effective. So that's all for my sharing today. So I hope we can meet again in future, and I hope the very best for all participants here, and happy for conference today. So thank you. Thank you. And if you have any question, you just email me, Norazmi at UKM. Here, I write here, Norazmi at ukm.edu.my. Okay. So it's honorable for me to share this one. I'm enjoying here. So hope we meet again in the future. So goodbye, and